The first step to determine the concentration of material you have is to prepare a volumetric solution. In order to do that, you want to use a funnel to transfer all of your solution to a volumetric flask. In this case, I'm using a 25 ml volumetric flask. I want to transfer this solution quantitatively. So after I'm done transferring the material in the vial, I'm going to use some clean dichloromethane in order to rinse the flask. You can see that this is very light. There's only a little bit more quinazarin left in this, and we can use this to transfer the rest of the material that we have into the volumetric flask. At this point, I want to fill the volumetric flask to the mark with the solvent that we are using for the dilution. In this case, it's dichloromethane. So using the pipette, I can start by filling it relatively quickly. However, as I begin to approach the volumetric line, I want to begin to be careful so that I don't accidentally overshoot the line. So at this point, I need to add the solution drop-wise. I need just a little bit more until the bottom of the meniscus is right at the line. At this point, I need to mix the solution. I put the cap on the volumetric flask and I turn it upside down several times in order to completely mix the solution. The solution that you see in this volumetric flask is way too dark. The absorbance on the spectrometer is going to be much greater than 1. So we need to prepare a second serial dilution. To do that, we are going to carefully measure out 5 ml of our solution by using a graduated cylinder. Our graduated cylinder is calibrated to deliver 5 ml, and so we're not going to rinse that. We're simply going to once again use our funnel to pour our solution into our volumetric flask, and then we're once again going to dilute this solution with more organic solvent. Diluting filling the flask quickly until we begin to approach the mark, at which point we want to move very slowly in order that we do not overshoot the mark and add too much solvent, and therefore do not have a good sense of the volume that we have. Here we're right at the mark. Once again, we are going to shake, put the cap on, and turn the volumetric flask upside down in order to mix the solution well. See two different dilutions of the solution. The first on the left was diluted to all of the initial extracts diluted to 25 ml, and the second on the right was 5 ml diluted again to 25 ml, or a 5-to-1 dilution. The dilution on the right is the right intensity for spectrometry. The absorbance that we get out of this solution is about 0.8. Depending on your success of your experiment, you're going to want to use different measurements to dilute your solution. The more constant, in order to obtain an absorbance between 0.5 and 1, and then use the dilution values you use to back calculate how much solution you started with.